Alright guys, welcome. I want to start this video by saying that none of this is meant to be like serious slander or anything. This is all just fun and games. That being said, I'd like to introduce you to my first in a potential series I might do called Best and Worst Traits, where I'll go through players in our scene and community, current and maybe not so active, who have been here in the past, and I'll discuss their best trait and their worst trait, and then compare the two and see if their best particular trait outweighs their worst one. And I'm going to rank them on a tier list. Again, none of this is like dead serious. I love everyone in the scene. I have no business having trouble with anyone. So let's just see what we can get into here. What I've done is I've created a little tier list here of, we'll just start with 15 people in the scene. And there's obviously potential for more to come in. If I don't include you in this one, it's not out of any ill will or anything. It's just happenstance that I picked these 15 people first. So in no particular order at all, although to be fair, I have got some notes here that I'll be reading off. I'll just go off the list here. Very first is Gilbags, Aaron. So, godfather of the scene, like he's always involved and he's always making the scene better. We wouldn't be able to organize a lot of the stuff without him. That's his best trait. His worst trait is probably his comms. Like, my guy speaks entirely too fast. He clips the mic probably every single time he yells, "Punish that shit," at offlines. Like, we love having him there. But sitting next to him on comms, like, even though it's great energy, sometimes he can clip your ear. But I don't think that's too bad at all. So I reckon he definitely has his best trait winning out over his worst trait there. Second, I'm going to go for is Aldi. Aldi is our tech genius and god. None of this would be possible without Aldi doing stuff behind the scenes for us at offlines and onlines as well. He organizes a lot of the majors that we do there. Although he does play like a bot, and then he'll claim that it wasn't bot play and it was like, "Oh no, I just missed an input, bro. Like, I did Melina ball roll straight into Johnny's fatal blow parry, like on purpose. I just missed an input." Yeah, sure, bro. But like, I reckon that's also a best trait winning over the bad trait there. Like, there's no real issues with Aldi at all. He's a great guy. Next on my list is Clockwork. Clockwork, the current champion of the majors, as it were, probably the most improved player over the course of like just MK1. Like, if you think about where he was at the end of MK11 and where he's placing now, like, he's winning major offlines. It's just probably the person that's climbed the most in the ladder, I'd say. And probably the one that puts like the most hours of like training into this game. So he's definitely got the hunger for it. Worst trait, he probably cares a little bit too much about KL wins and stats. Definitely gets heated more than the rest of us. That's not bad because it means he has passion, but yeah, I would say that's an even split there. Like, the amazing climb that he's had is great. I don't know if it super outweighs how passionate he can be when he loses, because he can be a little bit upset sometimes, but we all love him and I don't think anyone has any like real problems with him. Next on the list is Lemon Lad. Big Lemon. So another TO, another tournament organizer, a knowledge and tech visionary, really. He's a wizard. He's one of the more patient and methodical players that we have in the scene. If anyone's played against him, they know he's a classic zoner, and he's so good with the playstyle. Bad trait, I mean, fucking vegan, man. Enough said. Like, such a terrible transgression, and he knows that he belongs down in the worst trait wins category, and he can talk to me about that later, but yeah, that's where he's gonna go. Next on my list is Vale. Now, I don't have pictures for some of these people, but they'll come to offlines and they'll get pictures soon enough, hopefully. Vale, a solid sub player, you know, always have to fun around and definitely always fun to have on the mic in general chat. DBD player as well, part of the DBD crew. He's just a generally great guy to have around. Although, bad trait coming, he is Wiz number 2 in the making. Gosh, I hope he corrects the path that he's on, because he's going down that path and he will be Wiz number 2 soon. But that's an even split of things. He's neither bad nor good. He's just a great guy that you love to have around in chat. And speaking of Wiz number 2, here's Wiz number 1. He's right here, boys. The absolute icon of the scene. I cannot envision having a proper offline without the little mafia boss running around, just dunking on everyone in the bracket, and then still always making it to top 8. It's fucking crazy. Although, his bad trait, I don't know how you can be making top 8 and still whiffing down to full screen at this stage in the game. But he is. And for that reason, that's decently bad enough to put him in an even split down there. So that's the first 6 players there. Let me move on now to the next 6. Starting with Sag at 83. You will, and I can't stress this enough, you will never have a crowd quite like a crowd with Sag in it, especially during a top 8 high stakes hype set. He goes mental. He brings the energy up around everyone that's with him. It's so much fun to have him in a crowd at an offline, and he's great to just like joke and play around with outside of the game as well. However, Lao abuser. He says loyalist. I say abuser. When you hit that fucking -7 completely safe armor launching move, I bet he has a little grin on his face, man. I bet he's just like anyway, but no, his best trait wins out because he's such a key part to our offline scene and making everything just hype and so much fun to be around. Next is Suki. Big Sucky the Ibis, man. I don't know why I can't put him in front of Happy, but I can't. Anyway, Big Suki, skilled KL demon turned good player. You know, he shows true skill even at offlines. He makes it decently far enough in the bracket. But God, man, I just wish he'd pick a character. Just stick to a character, man. Like, well, what's with the disloyalty to your mains? I can't even imagine how quickly Takeda's going to be dropped. It's a shame because we're going to need a Takeda. But yeah, I reckon that's an even split though. His bad and good traits, they're evenly split. There's nothing wrong with him at all. Next on my list is Stimmer, or Nicky Mabob, you may know him as. Also a skilled KL demon turned good player. Gosh, he won the major before Clockwork, if memory serves, OFC 3, I believe. Taking it over Nicky, the other Nicky, Wi-Fi Scorpion. Yeah, he's really good. He's come so far, and he's a good young man, a good kid. But every time he mashes and gets away with it, he has the same shit-eating laugh. It's just this young boy giggle, and I swear there's not too much more tilting in this scene than that fucking laugh when he gets away with some mash that he shouldn't. And for that reason, he's going down here. I just realized both these two are vegans. Ugh, gross. All right. Next on the list, we've got Soul's Clue, Big Clue, Big Man Dem. Look, representative of OCE at Final Combat, and for a fucking reason, because he is the demon of set play. He's so good at it, and he's so good at finding such niche tech that none of us like find ourselves. He seems to be the guy that finds all the really cool stuff, like Natara Tremor, you know what I'm talking about, Sindel Cyrax. We joked about him inventing that, like it existed before, but he definitely showed the world like that it exists, that of what it can do as well. Worst trait, it was hard to think of one, but then I realized that he's still a Tongan, so I'm gonna put him down here. And then we're moving on to Happy. Happy, man, he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. I hope he comes to one of the New South Wales Victorian offlines with me soon, because he's just so chill to have, and very fierce competitor. Like, he's won the Queensland offline a handful of times at the Rambat, so he's great. The only downside to him, I had to think hard about this one, and it's particularly pertaining to me. The only downside to him is that because he plays Shao, he knows exactly when to mash on Shao, so naturally I quite hate him. But no, his best traits win out for sure. He's such a cool guy, and we love having him around at the offline. So, we have got 4 people left. I'm going to I'll start with Fix. I'll leave the no pick boys to the last. But this is Fix, Daddy Fix, as you will. Gosh, he's the current champion of Queensland. He won the Sunnyside Up 2 major as of yesterday, and could be like the best Liu Kang player in OCE. He kind of flies under the radar, but he's really good, especially offline. His downside, his worst trait, is probably that he downplays himself, especially at offlines, like a lot. He's definitely better than he thinks he is, just because he took time off with his newborn son to focus on that. Like, who wouldn't? He thinks he's somehow lacking, but he's definitely not. He's not lacking at all. So I'd say that's an even split. I'll call that an even split between traits. Now, NZ Buff. NZ Buff is here. He's the nicest chatter, you know? Like, he'll always, without fail, welcome people to Twitch chats and Discord conversations, you know, when you're having them. He'll be like, hey, how you doing? How you been? It's lovely. He seems like a really cool guy. Worst trait, absolute fucking masher. Like, oh, such a masher. but gets away with it. But I think that's an even split. There's nothing too wrong with that. There's lots of mashers in our scene anyway. I'll hang on. I'll put the mashers next to each other. Vale, fucking masher. Yeah, I'll put the mashers down here. We'll move on to the last 2. We've got Big Swaz. Swaz up inner. I'm in your face, bro. Long-time favorite of the scene. And I don't think anyone has any real beef with him. Sort of the same as NZ Buff. He has such a likability about him. But is Kiwi, so down here. Moving on, final one, Pax. And Pax, I saved you for last, buddy. Let me make sure I don't miss this off the notes here. I will start with your good trait though. Such a character. Everyone seemingly loves him. Solid meme lord. Great to have in chats. Becoming one of the key parts of the community. Everyone knows him. He's been nice to everyone. However, he has earned the name Rats on Rats for a reason. Man, leaves me at Wellington Station like 3 times in the rain. Just, I can't stress how much that infuriated me, bro. You left me hanging when I needed you, and you belong down here. That's where you go. That just for that one thing. So that's it. I think that's where we stand. I again need to stress that this is not dead serious. This is just a bit of a funny haha vid. There will be more if it's received well, if people like it. And you know, if you want to let me know what you think of me, you can as well in the comments. This will be going up on YouTube. Don't be too harsh. I'm trying to keep it very civil, very nice. I haven't gone hard on anyone, I think. And I haven't glazed anyone too hard. I'm not sure. The people will let me know. So, gosh. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.